Hi everyone, Neo here. Today we're going to be taking a quick look through the set release for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. As of recording, the pre-release is happening today, which I'm not taking part of because my local event was full. But I haven't actually seen any of the cards on this set yet, so I'm going to do a quick run through of as many as I can which look interesting and just point out some fun stuff out of them. This is going to be a very unscripted event, so basically any jump cuts are just me taking a pause for breath and just jumping into the next part, but let's go through them. Okay, starting off here, looks like we have the white section. I'm on Skyfall. This is my usual source for looking up cards, and funny enough, is actually where I grab all the card images from. So we have basic equipment for warriors and samurai. Let's see here. When you control attack alones, pay 1, equip it, +2/+1. Not bad. Could see it playing in sealed events. Looks like next up is a mythic, which, oh my god, that text is tiny. Let's get this bigger, shall we? Right. Arrow for Dawn Sky. I do know roughly this is probably going to be the set of dragons, because the original Kamigawa had a set of dragons like this as well. Let's see here. When it dies, choose one. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, put any number of non-land permanents with mana value 4 or less onto the battlefield. That's kind of cool. Just like go through the top cards of your deck and put things into play. Or put 2 +1/+1 counters on each permanent you control that is a creature or vehicle. Okay, that's actually kind of really cool. It gives you value when it dies. It's a 5 mana 5/4. It's a flying and a vigilance, so still a decent body on the field and does something cool when it dies. That is actually really cool. I really like that one. I don't know if it's going to get any better like going further down the line with the other cycles, but that's actually really cool. I like that one, but then again that's the mythic, so of course that's going to be a bit more powerful than some of the others. Burning Slash. Destroy one target artifact, enchantment or tapped creature. Then if you control an artifact, create a 2/2 samurai. I like that. That is uncommon as well. That is just good generic white removal. It's not instant speed, it's sorcery, but that itself just kind of works. Like that just is kind of cool. We got a saga here. So sagas are enchantments which stay on the battlefield, and you see where it's got 1, 2, and 3 on here. Basically, this will stick around until. So on the first turn, when you first play it, number 1 will trigger, so you get that effect immediately. Then on your upkeep, you get the second counter, which is number 2, and on the third one, you get the third counter, and then the saga goes away. So let's see what they're doing with this. +1/+1 counter against flying, kind of cool. Does that twice. Exile, it's a modal card. Oh, it's a modal card. It comes Imperial. I like that artwork. That's kind of cool. A 2/4. How much does it cost? 4 mana 2/4. As a common, it's okay, but kind of expensive. Let's see here. Ninjutsu. This is the mechanic where essentially, while it's in your hand, if you attack and one of your creatures is unblocked, you can pay this cost in your hand and swap out your attacking creature with this card. Basically the idea is like swapping out something for something more powerful with a better effect. This is before damage is dealt, so kind of interesting. Actually, that's not entirely true, but usually it's before damage is dealt. It's just a 2/4 double strike. The Ninjutsu cost is kind of high. I like the fact it's got double strike. That's kind of useful. There's some weird stuff you can do with that. Just generically good. As a Fox Ninja. That's kind of cool. Alright, Born to Drive. Enchant artifact or creature. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, gets +1/+1 for each creature and vehicle you control. Okay. That's kind of cool. So it's supporting vehicles and makes things bigger. Kind of generic white effect, that's kind of interesting. Channel. What is channel? Discard Born to Drive, create 2/1/1 pilot creature tokens. With this creature can crew things as if it power 2 or greater. Okay, so I guess channel is pay the cost in your hand as do a different thing. I don't know, I might have to find a different channel card to find out how that actually works, but yeah, that's just a cool generic enchantment, just makes things bigger. I would say there's definitely better ones in white and still playable ones. Like all that glitters, which just makes everything bigger for every like artifact enchantment, but not a bad one, especially in sealed. That would be good in sealed, I'd say. Brilliant Restoration. Oh my god, how much does that cost? 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Return all artifacts and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Very expensive, but very cool. I don't know all the return all card abilities, but that is kind of powerful, but I just worry it's too expensive. Like 4 white mana, unless you're like really devoted to white, that's really hard to match. Like, oh boy. I can see it being like a major winning combo piece though in Commander. Cloud Skill Kirin, Equipment Kirin, what? Hang on, what? 3/2 Equipment Kirin, flying. As long as equipped creature has flying, you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win. What the heck is this thing? It's an equipment creature, but what? Okay, reconfigure. Cost of 5. Attach target creature you control. And okay, so it's a creature which can attach to another creature, basically turning it into an equipment. And the equipment's effect is that you can't lose the game. That I feel can be abused in several ways, because that is Platinum Angel's effect. You just can't lose the game and you can't win the game. I'm terrified. That's probably going to be broken somehow. Its equip cost is high. Like, equip cost of 5 is quite high. I have to see how that gets abused at some point. That's kind of really weird, but really interesting. I feel like it's one of those cards which would see like a cool combo piece, but just is slightly off of being one. Like the Faceless Haven and I don't remember the name of the other enchantment, but it was a card which gave you a token counter which made you couldn't lose the game. So you give that counter to the land when it became a creature, and then it goes back to being a land, so you just can't lose the game, kind of thing. That's weird. I don't know how to feel about that one. Dragonfly Suit, common, flying, crew 1, generically good, honestly. Like, it looks cool. It's a 3/2, crew of 1, so it gives itself a bit of evasion by like not being a creature all the time, and getting a 1/1 on the field is not hard. Enchanter Exemplar, whenever a Samurai Warrior attacks alone, get +1/+1. This is, was it Bushido or was it Exalted which used to do this effect? Either way, Samurais are back, I guess, which is kind of interesting. I'm glad they also added Warrior, so it's a bit more versatile, but overall I can see this just being like a quick drop in for maybe some sealed play, maybe standard in some like creature aggro deck, red-white style stuff, depending on what red shows us later. Era of Enlightenment, Never Saga, Scry, gain life, and the creature is a 2/2 with First Strike. That's actually kind of nice. Generic effects, like allow you to search for your deck a bit better and sort out what's the top of your library. Gaining 2 life could be relevant in some decks. Life gain is definitely a strategy which is still around. And turn 3, having a 2/2 with First Strike is still pretty good. I would argue it's just a good card. Never One, Never Saga. Let's see here. Exile target creature. Mana of 4 greater, so removal, like that. Each player gains control of all permanents they own. Not super relevant all the time, but nice effect. And the creature is a 1/3 defender. With it dies, draw a card. The creature I could do without, but honestly, kind of solid removal. Second effect just isn't super relevant though, but there's worse cards you could have. Definitely worse cards you could have. Farewell. Okay, so this one here is 2 white and 4. Choose 1 or more. Exile all artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or graveyard. Oh, that is cool. I actually really like that. That's just straight up a board wipe, and it's selective a board wipe. It's exile, so it just takes away resources, as it were. I would say it's a shame that it's all, but honestly, for its cost, that is a really powerful effect, because it just like clears the board of everything but planeswalkers, which bluntly is just a good effect. And the fact you can choose, yeah, no, that is just really, really cool. Although I've just caught notice of the next card. Go shiny of this shared purpose. God, that is a mouthful. Legendary enchantment creature Shrine. Shrines are back. That's going to be fun because shrines are always interesting, and there was a shrine commander style deck I've seen played around, and if there's more to support that, that's going to be really nice to see. What does it do? Vigilance. Beginning of your end step, you pay 1, create a 1/1 colorless spirit for each shrine you control. Okay, so its effect isn't great, but the fact is a shrine is relevant, and it's a 1/3 body, so arguably it depends on the rest of the support, but that's not awful. Next up is just a 2/3 of lifelink for free enchantment creature. Not too bad. Let's see here. Ooh, Hotshot Mechanic, a fox pipe. Actually, I've just realised there's a lot of fox creature types in this. That's actually kind of really cool. Because fox isn't a heavily used creature type. Like, I think there's only one I can think of. It's that, I don't know what it's called, but it lets you draw a card and gain 2 life. It's an artifact creature. That's the only one I can really think off the top of my head. Hotshot Mechanic, cruise vehicles if its powers were 2 or greater. Wait, hang on. Have I misread this? Hotshot Mechanic, cruise vehicles if its power were 2 great. Okay, so it cruise vehicles up to 4 or more if you pump it. Not bad, honestly. Although so far we've only seen vehicles which cost like crew cost of 1, and down here is a crew cost of 2, which I'll read in a minute. But given that vehicles are going to be more important, yeah, just cheap crewing vehicle creature. Don't dislike. That's actually kind of nice. Let's see here. Imperial Oath, very expensive. Create 3 2/1 white spirit tokens with Vigilance Scry free. That is too much for what it does. That it's just too expensive. I don't see that being used in any way. Like, even in token strategies, like, there's better, like, making of 2/2 creatures. The fact they're samurais I don't think is relevant. Scrying free, but there's just so many better effects which do that more. Like, if someone finds a way of using this, let me know, but I just think that's a bad card. Imperial Recovery Unit. This one's a vehicle for crew 2. Let's see here. When it attacks, return target creature or vehicle from your mana value 2 or less from graveyard to hand. Okay. It's not bad. Being a 3/4 is a nice body for it. Crew 2 is a nice cheap cost. It's smaller than what you're paying to use it. But 2 or less, I mean, Lewis did a lot with 2 or less, which is the companion. So yeah, that probably could be good, but I think it's too specific of how it's activated. If it was 3 or less, I think this would have been far more powerful, but then it would have taken up a rare slot. Imperial Subduer. Whenever a samurai warrior you control attacks alone, tap target creature you don't control. Incendia's Arrest, enchant permanent. Creature can't attack or block. Or crew vehicles. Its activation abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. That's interesting. That I do like, but there's an interesting workaround with mana abilities though. See, a mana ability is defined as something which gives you mana. So, Alana Elves, when it taps, it gives you a green mana. But if it has an additional effect to give mana and does something else, that would still be activated as well. So something to be cautious of, and I don't know why I paid just refresh. Invoke, as a common though, I do like it. There's many things in white which do that, but it does look cool. Invoke Justice. Oh my god, that's another expensive spell. That is 4 white and 1. What is with this pay 4 white spells? I haven't seen that in a long while. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Venture pursuit 4 1/1 counters among any number of creatures or vehicles. Okay, so it's a revival spell in white which gives +1/+1 counters. It's cool, but it's expensive. I don't know how to feel about that one. Like, white recursion isn't the worst in the world. It tends to be Black's ordeal to like recur things, but I don't know if adding the plus, like 4+1+1 counters is going to be enough to make this super playable, like outside of very specific weird strategies. Kitsune Ace, Fox Pilot. Whenever your vehicle controls attacks, choose one. Gains first strike or untap the Kitsune Ace. So you can pilot. Oh, that's kind of cool. So you can use this to pilot the card, attack with the vehicle, and then untap this because of it, or give it first strike to make it easy to get through. Like it. Nice common. 2 mana 2/2, very solid. The fact it untaps itself and has a bonus effect is good. Overall, very solid common. Kudori, the Soul of Kamigawa. Legendary Dragon split with Flash. Okay, so instant speed, cool. Flying is a 3/3 for 4. It's got a Wooburg thing, so all 5 colours into it. Gets +5/+5 to end of turn. When it enters, another target opponent gains indestructible for as long as you control this. Ooh, I like that. That is kind of cool. Give another opponent indestructible until this leaves. That could be a very interesting little combat trick, like if done right. Light the Way. Choose one. +1/+1 counter on a vehicle, or I'm noticing a theme with the +1/+1 counter here a little bit. And untap it. Return target opponent you control to its owner's hand. Okay, nice little cantrip. I wish it would say draw a card instead of untap a creature, almost. But again, that probably would have done a rarity boost. But honestly, it's okay. Like, untapping a card makes it another blocker, or returning a card to your hand protects it from destruction. Overall, just not an awful effect. Ooh, Light Pause, the Emperor's Voice. This has a mouthful of text to it. Whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, you may cast it. Sorry, no, if you cast it, you may search your library for another aura card with mana value less than the aura, but it has to have a different name. Then put it on the field attached to this card. Okay, that's kind of cool. So, to summarize this bad wording or this convoluted wording, if you played, for example, let's see if we can find one of the auras from before. Do we have one? Yeah. Let's say Ancestors, you wouldn't play this on one of your cards, but we'll use it as an example. Ancestors Arrest, which is an aura. After you cast it from your hand, you then search for one which costs 2, because this one costs 3. Then you attach that one directly to this creature. It only triggers once because it's not being cast, it's being played, but being able to search out auras from your deck could be really useful. Could make a very interesting commander, but I do worry that it might be a bit slow because of just like how many like auras you would have to go through. And the fact it's specifically auras and not equipments as well is kind of like scary, but you know, there's probably ways around it. Let's see here. Lion Sash. Equipment Cat. Another one of these equipment creatures. Oh, reconfigure 2, so they've all got their own cost. That's nice. Exile target permanent from graveyard. Sorry, exile card from the graveyard. If it's a permanent, put +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash. Equip creature +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash. Okay, pretty generic. Don't dislike it, honestly. Like, it's graveyard removal, so it gets bigger for removing stuff from graveyards. It equips something to make it bigger for the number of stuff you remove. It doesn't tap when it removes stuff. Generically good. Just generically good. I would say I would probably include that in some builds, because honestly, graveyard hate in white is difficult to come by sometimes, like outside of artifacts, and this just does it really well. Lucky Offerings. Sorcery. Destroy target artifact, mana 3 or less, you gain 3 life. Good removal, not complaining. I would definitely say, like, in sealed, you'll probably see a lot more play. The fact it's sorcery, though, isn't fantastic, though. But for 1 mana, you can't complain. March of the Otherworldly Light. An additional cost to cast a spell, you may exile any number of white cards in your hand. This costs 2 less for each exiled card. Okay, so remove your hand to cast this for X. That's weird. That actually scares me a little bit, because what's the effect? Exile target artifact or enchantment with X. I don't think that's good. Okay, it's instant speed removal, but X removing cards from your hand? And specifically white cards from your hand? I worry that would like burn out a lot of resources because white does not have good card draw. Like that's something they've always missed out on. It's just like ways of adding stuff to the hand, recurring stuff, doing stuff. And this is just kind of expensive to do so, especially for just like a artifact creature or an enchantment. Like literally behind us we have almost says destroy target artifact for 1. Okay, yes, it's 3 or less, but it's a way of doing so. I would definitely say there's better options than this. Very weird that's a rare. I would say that would definitely be an uncommon, like at best, because I don't know, like am I going mad? Like okay, sure, let's say you reveal 2 cards, X is equal to 4, so you know, target 4 or less just gets exiled. There's been better cards than that so far. I don't like that, especially as a rare. No. Oh god, I'm gonna mispronounce his name. Richard Reigns of Truth. Let's see here. Saga, +1/+1 until end of turn for each artifact creature you control. That's kind of neat. That feels like something you'd do close to the end of the game. Plus, not to mention, it does it twice, and it creates a 0/0 creature. What's it create? Let's see here. Enchantment creature, human noble. Gets +1/+1 for each artifact or creature you control. Okay, it just creates one of those creatures which gets bigger for each artifact enchantment you control. That's actually kind of interesting. 3 turns to do it though is kind of long, but the fact it just gives something a big boost, yeah, I kind of like that. Also the fact it's not an actual, like, it's a target boost rather than it being just a one-off. You could probably do some targeting shenanigans with that. Moth Rider Patrol. Again, another Fox Warrior. Still liking this. Flying, and a cost to tap a target creature. For 1/1 flyer, I feel like there's better. Like, I feel like this, like, pay 4 tap a creature cost. It could have been 1 less to make it more powerful, but it's a generic common. I'm not going to complain. Like, I would say in sealed that would be good, but in actual playable events, probably not. Let's see here. Naoki Yamazaki, the Poet. God, these things have fancy names, don't they? Legendary Human Samurai. Vigilance. Whenever a Samurai Warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target enchantment from your graveyard this turn. Okay, that's actually kind of interesting. Because, actually I don't think it's really... Actually, yeah, there has been a decent amount of, like... Because the last card was a warrior. I haven't been looking at creature types too heavily, outside of looking at foxes. But being able to recur an enchantment from your graveyard is kind of cool. The fact it doesn't exile it when it leaves, like a lot of card effects do with this kind of effect, is nice. The fact it says they'll attack alone, I feel like you would have to do some heavy support to do that. Because so far I've only seen very limited things which benefit you from attacking alone. But I don't dislike it, especially as an uncommon for 3 cost, for 3 to itself. Like, it has relevant stat lines with a relevant, like, keyword. I like it. I do like it. Region's Authority, instant. Creature gets +2/+2 to end of turn. If it's an enchantment creature, legendary creature, instead put a +1/+1 counter on it, and then it gets +1/+1. That's actually kind of nice cantrip. So if it's just a generic creature like the Fox Warrior, the Moth Rider Patrol back there, just make it +2/+2 bigger until end of turn. Or if it's the Poet here, it gets a +1/+1, so it gets a permanent buff and additional to the end of turn. For 1 mana, definitely playable. Like, it's a nice little cantrip. I can imagine that being cool in like that. What's the card? Like, is it Feathers? It's from Ravnica. It's the one which recurs like instant sorcery spells you cast on it. I don't remember which one it is, but I would imagine it'd be very relevant in there. My scroll wheel was broken. Repel the Vial. Choose 1. Exile target creature 4 or greater. Exile target enchantment. See, for 4 mana, this is still better than that X spell. Because, although yes it's 4 or power 4 or greater, like for the creature, and it costs a bit more, but you are getting the effect without losing resources. I'm sorry, but can someone please tell me why this is highlighted? I think someone's made a mistake in saving the cards. But yeah, for like that cost, I would say that's better than the Expel. It's not a great card, like there's still better choices like in the whole of Magic, but for what it is, I would definitely say like this is far better than what we looked at before. Resurrection of Enjanto, I don't know how to say that name. Search your library for basic planes. Cool, like it. At the end, you may discard a card, and if you do, return opponent with mana 2 less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, the fact it returns to the battlefield is cool, so you could either discard a card which is mana value 2 or less. Actually, it also says permanent. So it doesn't have to just be a creature or something else. It can be like one of the enchantments or something else. Like that. And what is the creature on the other side? Because it looks like the trick of all these, all three of them have... Ooh, that is cool art. I like that. Let's see. Vigilance. Whenever a target attacks or blocks, create a 1/1 color spirit token. Oh, the fact it's colorless is interesting. I don't know why they chose to make it colorless specifically. 3/4 attacks makes a spirit. Not bad. I actually really like this card. Like, I feel like this card is very playable. The fact it gets you a basic land is good because white always struggles with that stuff. The fact you can recur something and it's a May ability, it's not a force, means that you can do something else with it. And the creature is actually kind of cool and relevant on the other side. If it wasn't for... Actually, no, it's not even a legendary. I was going to say, like, if this was just a straight up legendary creature, I'd want to make that a commander because that... Well, actually, it's a bit slow to be a commander. But you could do stuff in tokens with it. Selfless Samurai. I feel like I know what it's going to do, but Fox Samurai. When it attacks... whenever a Samurai warrior you control attacks alone, it gains lifelink to end of turn. Yep, and sacrifice, gain indestructible. Honestly, that is just good. Like, it supports both the samurais and warriors, which everything else seems to be doing. It gives something else lifelink, and it has a protect your card ability on it. And it's just target creature, it doesn't have to be a samurai or warrior. No, that's just good. That's just like upsided like that. Actually, no, it's Selfless Savior costs 1, so Selfless Savior is still probably better. But the fact this has relevant like tribal synergies is still good. I had to think of the word then. Seven Tails Mentor. Never Samurai. Whenever it enters or dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or vehicle. Not fantastic. Like, it costs 4, it's a 2/3, there's been better cards above it. In sealed it could be useful, but overall I feel like it's just a bit too slow for what it does. Skyblessed Samurai, the person who's highlighted the card by mistake. Let's see, enchantment creature, human samurai. This spell costs 1 less for each enchantment you control. Oh my god, I just noticed the cost. With flying, 4/4 flying. God, this is a hard one to vote. In sealed, it could be okay. I worry it's too expensive. Like, just ignoring the fact it reduces its own cost. Like, reducing a cost of 6 by even 2? Like, you would have to have, like, literally be able to play this thing for free. And I would argue, like, I wish that thing said almost, like, said artifact and enchantment. Or, heck, even just, like, for each samurai you control would have been nice. Just for enchantments, I feel like it's just too slow. Either it needs to be slightly bigger, or it needs to be, like, slightly cheaper. One of those two, and that would be more playable. Spirited Companion. Enchantment creature dog. When it enters, draw a card. Bluntly, yeah. For 1/1 though, it's not fantastic. The fact it's an enchantment creature might be relevant, given the previous card. Drawing a card in white is still difficult to do. Nothing really works really well with dogs in this like Pacific set. It's an okay common. Like, if you're running sealed, I would probably run it as a last resort. If you're running commander, there's definitely better choices. I find it hard to like voice where this card should be played. Sunblade Samurai. Vigilance, Channel. Okay, Channel is pay 2, discard this card, search the life before basic planes, reveal it, and put it into your hand when you gain 2 life. So it looks like Channel is the, like, pay the additional costs and do something else rather than playing the card. So, interesting. I wish there was like an actual description of the keyword, but, you know, that's Magic for you. Probably would be too much text to explain it. Let's see here. So it's a 4/4 with Vigilance for 5. Enchantment creature. Enchantment could be relevant. Searching for basic land. I don't dislike this purely because it is a cycle ability for a basic land. Like, you pay other things for 2 mana to like search for lands. This is just a body if you don't need to search for it. It's okay. It's a seal playable. It's a Samurai Tribal card. I'm gonna say it's an alright common. Let's see here. Touch the Spirit Realm. Touch it. Feel it. You know what the Spirit Realm must be. Let's see here. Touch the Spirit World. When it enters, exile 1 target artifact creature until it leaves. Cool, just generic exile like that. Channel, discard the card. Return. Exile target artifact creature. And then return it to the field during the next end step. So, remove something. Actually, it doesn't say anywhere. I might need to find this out. Is Channel instant speed? It doesn't say it's also speed. If that's an instant speed, that could be really nice. But, oh god, it's hard to. It's generically okay because it's just a removal spell with an additional effect. Like, 3 is what you'd pay for, like, exiling a card anyway. But I don't know if Channel is instant speed. I might find out later, but if it is instant speed, this could be really nice, because paying 2 instead of 3 to just bounce something, even your own thing to bring it back to re-trigger and enter the battlefield effect, like Spirited Companion, for example, back there, could be nice. But if it's not, it's weird. Wanderer's Intervention, another highlighted card. Deals 4 damage target attacking a blocking creature. It's okay. It's a cantrip, it removes a creature, it tends to fall off the edge later on. Looks like Planeswalker's up next, so let's open this one up as a new tab, because this is going to be like really big to read. So, the Wandering Emperor, legendary Planeswalker. It has flash, so it can play at instant speed, so that's kind of interesting. Let's see here. As long as it enters the battlefield this turn, you may activate her loyalty abilities at any time you cast an instant. Okay, so when you flash it in, you can just straight up use its effect. +1/+1/+1 counters to things against first strike. That's kind of cool. -2, create a 2/2 Samurai Warrior creature token. Kind of cool. -2, exile tapped creature. So, it's a free loyalty Planeswalker for 4. That's kind of cool, actually. I like this. The fact it just like has flash makes this 100 times better, purely because you can play it as a after combat removal tool to remove something. This definitely feels like it's falling along the samurai line, so yeah, no, this is just a good card. Like, the fact you can make things bigger, the fact that you can make tokens with it, the fact I'm being attacked by the cat here. Sorry, Anna's in the house. No, this just makes it generically good. Like, I like this. This is just a really nice Planeswalker. If I get a hold of one, I'll probably play it. And finally, When We Were Young. Up to 2 target creatures gain +2/+2 to end of turn. If you control a target artifact, an enchantment. If you control an artifact and an enchantment, so both, the creature gains lifelink until end of turn. Those creatures gain lifelink. So, for 4 mana, give 2 things +2/+2. Kind of a nice little combat trick. Instant speed as well, so I do like that. Honestly, given how the set is looking, controlling an artifact and enchantment probably isn't hard. But it's conditional lifelink. And I don't know if conditional lifelink is fantastic. Sealed playable, probably not more than that. And okay, so honestly here, I'm looking through the cards. This video is already going on long enough, so I'm actually going to split this into a couple parts. I'm going to go through each colour quickly. I'm probably going to release them like reasonably close together anyway throughout the week, but I'm going to go through each of the colours before the video comes out. So in the next video is going to be focusing purely on the blue side of things, as this one is purely on the white cards so far, and we'll go through until we're through all the cards. Hope you're enjoying this little bit of a mini series. I won't be able to like really relate to the comments too much until after all the videos are out, because I'm doing all this in one go, but I do hope you enjoy it, and let me know the feedback of what you think of these cards as we go through them. And I will try, well, I won't know until like after I've recorded them all about the channel thing, but hopefully we can figure that one out. Just let me know in the comments what you think of that one, and I will see you in the next part.